You ever notice how power in places like downtown Chicago always tries to look untouchable? Like the whole world outside those glass towers is just background noise for their marble lobbies and million-dollar deals? Yeah, that's exactly how it felt the morning Cassandra Brooks walked into Zenith Tower, alone, with nothing but a slim leather portfolio and a purpose that weighed more than all those gold-plated nameplates put together. I mean, you could see the tension in the air, right? Under all that shine, the place practically hummed with something unspoken, something sharp, like everybody's pretending to be too busy for drama, but they're just waiting to see who's going to make the next move. She wasn't what they expected, not even close. Black, immaculately dressed, but not flashy, her hair pulled back, posture easy, like she belonged anywhere she wanted. But to the folks at Zenith, she was a question mark they didn't want to answer. She didn't come in with an entourage or a name they recognized from the club circuit or the Ivy League donor list. And yet, people noticed her anyway. Maybe it was the way she walked in without a badge, no lapel pin, just confidence and a face that said, "I'm here for business, not your approval." You know what I mean. She steps up to the executive elevator, of course. The receptionist doesn't even look up, but some of the suits do, just long enough to remember they'd never seen her before. One exec actually meets her eyes, but he's the first to look away. Typical. Cassandra gets in the elevator, checks her reflection, calm, put together, ready. This isn't her first time having to prove she belongs, but today, she's not just another consultant looking for a handshake. She's got proof, real, federal-level data, the kind that can change entire city blocks, whole communities if the board has the guts to listen. When she steps out onto the 58th floor, the whole atmosphere tightens. There's this hush, you know? The carpet's soft, the air's expensive, and people behind glass walls do that glance up, glance down routine, the one that says, "You don't look like the usual." Cassandra checks in with Lauren at the front desk, tight bun, forced smile, a tone that drips, "Can I help you?" like maybe you're in the wrong place. Cassandra just states her business. "I'm here for the 9 o'clock with the board, EcoStream proposal." That gets a twitch of surprise, but Lauren covers it, tells her to wait. That wait isn't an accident, let me tell you. The seconds drag on, building that old familiar wall, deliberate neglect. But Cassandra's not new to this game. She sits, portfolio on her lap, lets the silence wrap around her like armor. She's seen this play out before, make you wait, make you small, see if you'll flinch. She doesn't. Finally, they call her in. The boardroom's everything you'd expect: cathedral ceilings, panoramic views, a table big enough to land a small plane. A dozen people, mostly men, suits so sharp you could cut yourself, all with those polite, professional faces that hide so much skepticism it's almost funny. At the head of the table is Alan Whitmore, the kind of CEO whose handshake means nothing if he doesn't see you as an equal. He welcomes her with that thin, empty smile. She takes her seat, neither at the head nor the foot, just close enough to be noticed, not close enough to matter. At least, that's what they think. She starts her pitch, steady, no frills, just the facts, the EcoStream initiative, renewable energy, federal partnerships, a model so solid it should sell itself. She's got the numbers, the compliance docs, everything you'd need to take this city into the next decade. But you can see the room shifting not because of her ideas, but because of who's presenting them. The CFO, Gregory Tate, leans back and tries to undercut her, asking if she's ever managed something this big. She doesn't blink, cites the Baltimore pilot, $4.2 million return on a fraction of that in seed money. Still, they keep poking. Ellen Green, the one woman on the board who clearly knows the unspoken rules, tries to trip her up on execution, scaling, partnerships, you name it. Cassandra answers every question, keeps it professional, but she can feel the walls. They're not challenging her numbers, they're challenging her. Tate smirk, Tom Kingston's little chuckle about overconfidence, it's all code for, "How dare you?" And just when it gets personal, when they're practically daring her to raise her voice or lose her cool, Cassandra simply closes her portfolio, looks Whitmore right in the eyes, and thanks them for their time. "I trust you've seen enough to make your decision." She stands up, leaves the room, and behind her, you can practically hear the sighs of relief. Like, that's over. They think they played her, but they haven't got a clue. She doesn't go home, doesn't go lick her wounds. No, she heads across town to a building you'd barely notice unless you're on the right list, the Federal Oversight Liaison Office. Security nods her through like they're greeting a general. On the top floor, in a glass-walled war room full of data screens, she meets Director Langston, the man whose signature can make or break billion-dollar dreams. And guess what? All that stonewalling at Zenith wasn't just rude. It was a test, and they failed. See, Cassandra wasn't pitching for a contract. She was evaluating them for federal compliance, holding the pin on whether they'd get a seat at the Green Horizon table. And with every snub, every offhand slight, they wrote themselves out of a $300 million partnership. Langston slides her the compliance folder, everything recorded, every little exchange, every policy they violated, all of it documented. Effective immediately, Zenith is out. Disqualified for systemic exclusion, for failing to meet federal anti-discrimination protocols. Cassandra nods, keeps it together, but there's a flash in her eyes, like, yeah, this is justice. But she's not done yet. She goes back to Zenith, badge out, federal emblem gleaming. This time, when she steps off the elevator, the receptionist almost trips over her own words. Executives turn white. Whitmore tries to regain control, but Cassandra just lays it out, clear and cold. Your conduct has been reviewed. Your eligibility is revoked. This is no longer a discussion, it's a verdict. She leaves the boardroom as silent as a tomb, egos shattered, ambitions crumbling. And as she walks out of the building, everything feels different, not triumphant, but right, like a stone dropped into still water, the ripples just beginning. Outside, she stands for a moment, breathing in the city's air, thinking of her daughter Lena waiting at home. She knows this isn't just about contracts or career wins. It's about breaking open doors that should never have been closed, about leaving the path a little clearer for the next woman, the next outsider, who dares to walk in and demand to be heard. That night, in her modest Bronzeville home, she tells Lena that some people learned an important lesson today, not because she yelled, but because she made the truth impossible to ignore. The headlines tomorrow will argue about right and wrong. There'll be backlash, praise, and plenty of people trying to rewrite the story. But the truth is set in motion now. The silence is over, and as she tucks Lena into bed, Cassandra understands that this fight, this standing up, refusing to shrink, to play by rules rigged against you, isn't about revenge, or even just about her. It's about holding up a mirror to power and making it see itself, flaws and all. For every person who's ever been overlooked, talked over, made to wait in the lobby because someone thought they didn't belong, this is for them. 2.So here's my question for you. When the moment comes, do you stand up, even if your voice shakes? Or do you wait for someone else to break the silence? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me about a time you saw the system work against someone and what you wish you'd done differently. Maybe justice is just one more person refusing to look away. Let's keep the conversation going, because change only happens when we decide enough is enough.